WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 5:30.
Good evening and thanks for joining us at 5:30. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Let's get the clock moving. On our first 6 minutes of news, we have a lot to cover, starting with an intense crash caught on camera on I-94 involving a large box truck and several fire engines. Take a look at this.
County US
First responders were already working at the site of another crash in Kalamazoo County when the truck careened into the group of emergency vehicles this morning. A sheriff's cruiser was also hit. None of the emergency workers you see there were injured, but the truck driver was taken to a hospital for minor injuries. A date is now set for former Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Scher's second-degree murder trial. Scher is charged with killing Patrick Lyoya 2 years ago during a traffic stop. The two men got after Lyoya tried to run away. It ended with Scher shooting Lyoya. Jury selection will start in April and the trial is expected to begin on April 28th. The U.S. Justice Department has reached a possible agreement with the city of Louisville, Kentucky to reform the city's police department. It was prompted by the deadly police shooting of Breonna Taylor. The agreement was announced today. It still has to be approved by a judge, but it follows a federal investigation that found Louisville police have a pattern of violating constitutional rights and discrimination against the black community. Country music star Morgan Wallen pleaded guilty in court today to drunkenly throwing a chair from a rooftop bar in Nashville, Tennessee back in April. In return, the 31-year-old was given a sentence of 7 days in a DUI treatment center. He will also spend 2 years on probation. Nobody was hurt when Wallen threw the chair, although police say it landed a few feet from officers.
You're an idiot.
Get up.
Show us your hand right now.
Show us your hands.
Okay, so this is what you're looking at. Police say the man in the chimney was hiding from them after they arrived at a home to carry out a search warrant. Other people in the Massachusetts home jumped out of windows and tried to get away on rooftops, but a witness saw one go down the chimney. Police could not get him out, so firefighters were called in to help. The moment a small plane crashed onto a Texas highway was caught on camera. As it came down on a busy intersection yesterday, a witness thought the plane was going to hit him. When it did not, he ran to help.
I ran as fast as I could up to the pilot first, see if he was okay. He was conscious, older gentleman between 70 and 80 years old, blood on his hands, buckled in still. He didn't think he'd get out of there. He was still in shock, so I unbuckled him.
Officials say 4 people were hurt in the crash, and they are still working to figure out why the plane went down. As mysterious drone sightings continue over New Jersey and other places, lawmakers from both major political parties are asking the president for a briefing. Some even say the drones should be shot down. But today, the White House says a review of the reported sightings shows many of them are actually manned aircrafts being flown lawfully. Officials also say there were no reported sightings in restricted airspace. Staying with news from Washington, President-elect Donald Trump has announced that former news anchor and politician Kari Lake will be the director of Voice of America. VOA is a news service funded by Congress and is meant for international audiences. Lake is a supporter of the debunked conspiracy theory that the 2020 presidential election was rigged. That year, she unsuccessfully ran for governor of Arizona, and last November, she lost her bid to become a U.S. senator. Speaking of the soon-to-be president, Mr. Trump will likely name the next person to sit on the National Labor Relations Board. Yesterday, a Democrat-led push to secure a majority on the board in 2026 failed. Senate Republicans and 2 independents blocked the nomination of Lauren McFerrin to continue serving. The NLRB oversees labor disputes, supervises union elections, and has the power to investigate unfair labor practices. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called the failure to confirm McFerrin a, quote, direct attack on working people. Well, back here in Michigan now, today Ferris State University broke ground on a new space for the school's Jim Crow Museum. School officials say the 26,000 square foot standalone building will house the university's collection of 30,000 pieces of racist materials connected to the era of racial segregation in America. Officials say the new space will be used for teaching and conversations about race.
The Jim Crow Museum is still important because even though the United States is more democratic and egalitarian than it was 40, 50 years ago, we still live in a residue of Jim Crow.
The museum is expected to cost about $22 million and is funded by the Board of Trustees, the state of Michigan, and other organizations and individuals. As Christmas gets closer, tourists are flocking to a small town in Finland. There's an amusement park there called Santa Claus Village, and the Kris Kringle themed attraction is very popular every December. But locals there say their town is being overrun and that mass tourism is threatening their way of life. Town officials, however, say it's an annual boost for the local economy. And keeping time on our first 6 minutes of news to round things out, a pocket watch designed by Queen Marie Antoinette of France in 1783 is now on display in London, and what a watch it is. It was not finished until after her execution, but it's called one of the most beautiful and complex watches ever made. It has a thermometer, a calendar that adjusts for leap years, and it self-winds as well. Now, museum officials say it was kind of the smartwatch Kendall of their day. Wow, that's an impressive piece, I would say, of art, really.
I was just going to say, it looks so intricate just even in that video. I can only imagine getting to see it up close, too.
Yeah, you'd have to really get a good look at it, too. Incredible.
Yes. What's really incredible, or I guess depending on how you feel about cooler temperatures, maybe not so much, was our temperatures that we saw this morning. Good news is we are going to be warming things up starting tomorrow.
All right, your full forecast with all those nice toasty details coming up after the break. And then still to come here at 5:30 in this week's Popcorn Picks, Dexter is back, and fans will get to see how he became the killer that he is. We'll have those details and much more coming up. Stay with us.